All right, what is going on, everybody? It is Radio Tekkers live. We're watching Newcastle United take on Spurs. It's going to be very interesting. This is Steve Bruce's 1,000th match in charge, Mags. Any predictions?
He's getting fired in the morning.
Oh, I guess we should hit the intro. Alrighty, everybody. Welcome to yet another edition of Radio Tekkers live watch-alongs. This is Tanner, aka the Texas Gentleman. That's me, and right alongside me here, my partner in crime, as always, the Podfather, Mags. How are you
Well,
doing?
not as always. And I've got a bone to pick with you and young Matt. When
Oh,
you said, that I was out on assignment, Matt went, woohoo! So, Matt, woohoo to you. Bye-bye. But yeah, glad to be back. I had a busy day yesterday with a child's birthday party and
oh,
UFC. So, unfortunately, wasn't available, but I did get to tune in for a few minutes. And I took a little bit of umbrage with Matt's pick of money no object players. But I'm sure we'll get to that.
oh goodness. Well, this is a fun matchup here, Mags. Newcastle United. Since the last time that we've had one of these live streams together, Newcastle United has been taken over by
Mhm.
the Saudi Arabian public fund of
Investment fund, essentially
investing.
the the government. They're now a
Yeah,
Saudi owned property, uh, and also the richest club in all of sports now.
yeah.
So worrying
It's
times for
it's it's
football.
it's, it's we're just bundling from one tragedy to the next. You know, the Super League and now this.
I mean, I don't know which was worse for football: a European Super League or um, an owner of a Premier League club with the atrocities of the Saudi Arabian government. Who knows? But Newcastle fans can now be glad that they are going to be among the elite teams. I don't think it'll happen straight away. I mean, I don't. I know I haven't really given my views on Newcastle's situation. Yet on Radio Techers, but I don't. I think it's going to take time. I don't think we're going to see instant success. It didn't really happen at City when Sheikh Mansour took over. It took a while. You've got to build up that realistic team base, I suppose. They're not going to track Haaland. They're not going to track Mbappe. They're not going to track Lewandowski because they haven't got the proven track record in the Premier League and in Europe. Give it a couple of years, though. If they can qualify for Europe over the next couple of seasons, I think we'll have a new superpower in the Premier League. And I
Mm.
think within 5 years, we may see them challenging the likes of Liverpool, City, Chelsea, and Man United for the honours. But it's going to take a hell of a lot of money. And none of these players playing now will be in this side. Maybe aside from maybe St. Maximin.
I mean, maybe in 2 years' time, you know, this will be a completely different squad. Yeah, like what you said, with the exception of Saint Maximin and probably Jermaine Lascelles. I would imagine he sticks around. We've got people joining us in the chat.
Hello,
Let's see
guys.
here. We've got a Barstoolers podcast tuning in from Dundalk, Ireland, folks. Oh,
Oh,
very
thank you very
nice.
much. I hope you enjoy and hope you stick around.
Exactly, 100%. Thank you for joining us, Cy. Cy SJP words in the chat. How's it going, Cy? Hope you're doing well. It says
Mhm.
afternoon, y'all, or all. I added the y'all part.
That's the
It's
Texan in you.
it's a reflex. Connor McCabe in the chat. Hello, Tanner and Mags. How's
Yep,
it going,
and
Connor?
I want to give Connor a little bit of a special shout out. He said some really cool things on Twitter about us, and we really do appreciate those thoughts and sentiments, Connor. Thank you very much.
100%. UTT Rob in the chat. UTT Rob Wrestling says, I don't think you can be elite with it, clown Steve Bruce. Well,
How can you besmirch him? Have you not seen the FIFA 22 trailer where he out
that
sprints every
that
player on his team?
he's got 99 sprint,
Yeah,
like
I mean,
99 acceleration.
but saying that, I do agree with you. I think he's a dinosaur in terms of managerial, especially in the Premier League. And whilst it is his 1,000th match in charge of a football club, it's likely to be at least his last in charge of Newcastle. And if the reports are to be believed, he's on an £8 million pound payoff. It may be his last in football in general.
FTLOL podcast. How's it going? Hope you're doing well. It says afternoon/morning, guys. I think Kane breaks his goal drought today. There's another stat for you, Mags. Harry Kane, 0 goals, 0 assists in 6 games. What's going on? What's going on with him?
It's relatively simple. He doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to be at the club anymore. And yeah, I mean, for me, I think that's a very short-sighted move back in. And he's out of form because he's not feeling the game. It's as simple and clear as that. I mean, historically, he's always been injured going into the early parts of the season, but he's always got among the goals. This is a player who just doesn't seem to care. I think his heart was set on the move to City. And when that fell through, either through the disagreements with Levy or just being priced out in general, I think it's really affected him. And he's not the talisman and not the leader that Tottenham have needed. And that's fell to Heung-min Son. I think as the weeks go by, I think Kane, I mean, he's the natural goal scorer. Form is temporary and class is forever, is the old adage. And I think he will start coming good. He'll get that one goal, which will kind of like perk him up. And then I think he'll start firing a lot more regularly. But yeah, it just seems like a player who's not interested in playing for the club anymore.
It was quite interesting that earlier in the season, I think it was the Spurs Manchester City game, where Kane did not play, and we had almost this makeshift lineup here by Spurs, and they went and really terrorized City. And ever since they've reintroduced Harry Kane back into the squad, it's just not looked the same. So I don't know, man. I mean, I almost think Spurs are better off without Harry Kane here.
As good as a player is, and he can be the best player that's ever played for your club, if he doesn't want to be there, that's a wasted position. Yeah. That could be filled with someone who may not be as skillful or as much of a talisman as Kane, but will play for the club and will play for the team. And I don't think Kane's quite doing that now. Hopefully, he'll understand that he still has to get among those goals to keep himself in the shop window, because every game that he is anonymous and doesn't score is less and less to his transfer value. I mean, look at City now. They are still fighting tooth and nail to be at the top of the league, still without a recognised quality number 9 striker, and they don't.
Ferran
they don't
Torres
make
is
it.
now injured. Ferran Torres is now injured, and they're one less man up front.
But yet they still will be looking at Kane and thinking, what does he add to our team at this minute right now? He doesn't add anything to the team. Nothing that Jesus or Jesuit or Sterling adds to a City team. So I think he needs to put on his big boy pants, man up, and
score some goals.
Score some goals, yeah. Bring Tottenham back up to European levels and go out on a high rather than looking like a mad ass for the last season.
Yeah, indeed, Mags. I couldn't have said it better myself. Oriana the Draw in the chat, our friend Ori, she says, "Go Man City." She's used the Louisiana spelling of "go."
I actually got grief on a recording of Chain Wrestling because we encouraged Oriana to go to the dark side of Man City when she was favouring Man United. So yeah, I got a lot of grief off Sar for that.
Yeah, I don't know how we managed to to do that. I've still got the recording of that. I have not chopped it up and put it out on YouTube yet, but soon there will be a video in which Ori, the Draw, and Mr. Ray Cash will join Mags and myself in a discussion of how one should pick their own Premier League teams, and it goes horribly wrong for Mags and I.
It was very much like WrestleMania 17, where she shook hands with the devil at the end.
Yeah.
It was awful.
Yeah, she hit you and I with a chair, and then shook hands with Sheikh Mansour.
Yeah. It was me, Ori, all along.
Let's see here. UTT Rob in the chat. I think he's referring to Steve Bruce here. I've seen Steve Bruce mismanage town. We're lucky to still have a club after he was in charge. He says this as we see a glimpse of Amanda Stavely and the other members of the Newcastle board.
Oh, God. Look how cringy that is, though. She's clapping. These douchebags know nothing about football, do they? Absolutely nothing.
I'm more surprised that they kept the Sports Direct stuff all over the ground. Wow. You would have thought that if you had any integrity, you would have removed that by now, but perhaps not. Connor McCabe in the chat says, not confirmed, but Amazon is supposedly in talks with Newcastle for their documentary series. That'd be interesting. Yeah,
it would.
They did the one with Spurs last time. And that was interesting timing because Jose Mourinho was brought into the job that season,
so. and then sacked, leading into a cup final, which was great timing.
Oh goodness!
But we're just having the players now coming out to the field, so I think we should run through some lineups.
Yes, we should run through some lineups. Oh goodness, let me. I can't
even just fathom that we've gone for Newcastle as the draw for a Radio Tekkers match.
Oh goodness! So
the first of many in the coming seasons.
Perhaps so. Perhaps so. El Cachico between City and Newcastle in the future. That's definitely on the horizon. Goodness. Okay, so for Newcastle United, we've got Darlow in goal, Manquillo, Lascelles, Clark, and Ritchie in defense. We've got Isaac Hayden at the base of midfield. St. Maximin, Willock, Longstaff. I believe this is which Longstaff? Is it Sean? Yeah. Sean Longstaff. Okay, good. And Joelington. Joelington is out on the wing, I guess, in theory, in this formation, with Wilson playing up front. So.
Yeah, I mean, the sense would be just to give the ball to St. Maximum and just move out of his way, because he's been head and shoulders the best player for Newcastle this season. But I like Wilson. I think he'll always get goals. Joe Linton, I'm very on the fence about this times when he's been unplayable, but there's also a lot of times when he has been horrific to watch. Joe Willock, I was just going to say, Joe Willock, he last season he was phenomenal. He earned his transfer to Newcastle, but since completing and becoming a permanent fixture there, I think he's been very, very quiet. So this is going to be the St. Maximum show, I think.
We get a glimpse of Steve Bruce
looking at the jobs page of the local newspaper.
He's shaking hands. He's taking in his last glimpse of James Park. He even gave a salute to the St. James Park stand
whilst he updated his LinkedIn.
I can't believe this. It was the most goodbye salute that you could possibly give to a whole mass of people. It's just
I really want him at the end of this match to just stand in the middle of the circle, raise two middle fingers, and just go just turn around and just tell them all to piss off.
Do a shoot promo.
Yeah.
He just grabs a live microphone. Oh, goodness. But I do like the youth of Willock and Longstaff in there. They're both very talented players with a lot of potential. So, let's hope for them. Um, let's see. For Spurs, Hugo Lloris in goal, Regulion, Dyer, Romero, and Emerson in defense. Skip and Højbjerg in the base of the midfield. Heung-min Son, Dombele, and Lucas playing up in attack, just right behind. Yes, Mr. Man City himself, Harry Kane.
It's a powerful lineup. Son and Lucas Moura have been absolutely superb. I'm glad and Dombele is back in the team. So it's going to be an interesting game, but we've just had kickoff now, so I've paused it. I don't know if it's kicked off on your side of the pond just yet.
Steve Bruce has just taken his seat in the dugout, perhaps for one last time.
He's going to take a shit on that seat on his way out there.
Oh, goodness. And oh my gosh, the Sports Direct is just so cringeworthy. We've got the knee here, where we are taking a stand here. There is no room for racism in football or in any walk of life, and we have kickoff.
This is going to be interesting, and we're in the kind of period where we lead into the January transfer window as well. So a lot of these players are potentially for Newcastle playing for their position because I expect Newcastle to be big spenders in the next few transfer windows. So the performances are going to have to start reflecting which players are staying and which players are going.
Yeah, Joelington's going to have to
piss off.
He's going to have to, somehow convince somebody to pay him handsomely, I'm sure, as he stumbles over a Spurs player. I believe it was Lucas. This is going to be a fun game.
Yeah, I mean, I missed a pretty badass game for you guys. Have you come down from cloud nine after that stellar performance yesterday?
Oh my gosh, that was
it was Watford. So come on, let's be realistic. But still, 5-0 is outstanding.
Of course, I think if you can score 5-0 against any Premier League team, you've done well, right? Mm-hmm. Because the Premier League attracts the best talent, in the world. And I think that we had a full display of, the abilities that classic front three of Bobby, Mo, and Sadio Mane still has. Mm-hmm. Bobby's been amazing. Mo was absolutely great. And oh my gosh, we got a Newcastle United goal.
Oh my God. And it's Callum Wilson, the guy who said definitely has got goals in him. Yeah, I mean, these players know that if they lose, they're probably going to get their head on a park, quite literally. We may find them chopped into suitcases and flown out of Newcastle International Airport. But yeah, that's a great start. And Steve Bruce there taking a swig of his water, giving a little wink to Amanda Stavely.
Are we sure it's water?
Yeah, we're sure it's Tanner. We're sure it is Tanner, yeah.
Did you check it? Did you check it for Matt?
I checked it, yes, absolutely. Hello, everybody.
Hi, Matt. Welcome.
I'm just popping in for the first half, but I thought I would, especially after what we've just seen here. Oh, my goodness. Everyone is decked out in their scarves, and wow, I've seen sheikhs walking up to the ground before the game. It's fantastic.
How ironic that Newcastle fans are now embracing the Saudi culture.
It's fantastic. It's both fantastic and terrifying in equal measure.
We've made the correct decision.
What is time on your clock, gentlemen?
3 minutes and 1 second.
Yeah, I've got actually 3:10.
I'm on 3:20. I'm on 3:23, so I'm going to pause until you guys can.
All right.
Connor has said in the chat. I've never seen the Newcastle ground that full. It's amazing. Actually, Newcastle, for as poor as they are over the last few years, have been massively supported. They've got a very loyal fan base.
Huge. It's a huge stadium, and it's well done for sure.
Got 337 and counting here, Matt.
337. You've gone past me, Tanner.
Yeah, because Max was talking. I didn't want to interrupt.
I'm on 341, so it's fine.
I'm 47, 48, 49.
So you're about 50. A second in front of me, which I'm happy with.
I'm fine now. Yeah.
Okay. Well, good. I'm glad we're all on the same page.
I will say I am extremely happy about the amount of Newcastle fans who have embraced the idea of anyone but Mike Ashley. But at the same time, is this frying pan into the fire or frying pan into volcano?
Yeah, this is frying pan into getting chopped up and and shipped out of an embassy in suitcases. It's pretty horrific. But then saying that, when you've had an owner like Mark Ashley who is unilaterally hated in Newcastle, I can understand why
the entire of the world, pretty much.
I mean, it's
Sean Longstaff with the cross.
No. He's kept Newcastle solvent in terms of finances. He's not overspent like a lot of clubs have, but he's also Newcastle have really dropped down the pecking order to where a club of their size should be. So I can see why fans have embraced the money coming in from the Saudis and kind of like glossed over the horrific human rights violations that they have there. But yeah, I don't know if I could kind of cozy up to him that much.
Look, if I ever walked into a stadium wearing a Sheik's garb, this show's done.
there are. I guarantee by the end of the month there will literally be the full Sheik ensemble in a Newcastle strips design for sure. Someone will make one. It'll be bad taste. Somebody in the chat asking if Newcastle will sign Haaland next summer.
No,
I don't think so.
Absolutely not.
I think that they will sign some really good players. I think if you're looking for that top tier echelon of like your Haalands, your Mbappes, like the next all-star crop of new players coming through, I think it's going to take probably at least 2 or 3 years.
Mm-hmm. They need. I think they'll spend huge in January. I think they'll spend huge in the summer. But to attract players like Haaland, to attract players like Mbappe, it's not always about money. Yeah, Newcastle can throw $500,000 a week wages to them, but if you are then playing mid-table Premier League football with no sniff of Europe, you're not going to attract those players.
If you're lining up Erling Haaland next to Joelinton on a regular basis.
Joelinton is not a bad player, to be fair, but he's not the level that.
Agree to disagree.
But that's what I'm saying. He's on a completely different level of playability than Erling Haaland.
Oh, I mean, absolutely, yeah.
The Saudis, I think, will be taking the route taken by Man City, where they didn't go out and sign Galactico level players when they first came in. They were realistic about it. Yeah, they picked up the likes of Rubinho, which is fair play, but they also went for younger, lesser proven players like Kompany. I think Kompany was the first signing of the Sheikh Mansour era, and they went for a lot of the younger English players, and then kind of
Phillips comes to mind.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then they built on top of that, and I think that's what Newcastle are going to have to do. I think we're looking at 5 years before they consistently challenging for honours in the Premier League, and probably looking at UEFA Europa League over the next couple of years, and then maybe Champions League again in about 5 years.
I think that's
go on, Matt.
I think you have to build the infrastructure, right? I think you have to build, the pieces around the squad, and also get rid of a lot of the pieces that we know another manager
shat.
is not going to use.
How did the phrase go? Rome wasn't built in a day.
Rome was not built in a day. Yes,
But it did burn in a day. So
it did.
So Newcastle that's what, apparently, according to some of the papers this morning, that all they're going to have.
Oh,
Not Roman. Not Roman.
That
Not
Rome
Roman.
burned in a day.
Well, no, according to the papers this morning, Newcastle are only being given 50 million to spend in January, which is a lot for Newcastle, to be fair.
Yeah, that's still a lot of money for a January transfer window.
It is. It is. I mean, I'm looking right now at Steve Bruce having on the top of the 1,000th game in club management.
He's holding back the biggest smile there, isn't he? He's holding it back.
He's also holding back a massive poo that he'll certainly have
right in the middle of the middle of the pitch.
Do you know what? The weird thing is that I was listening to Kevin Nolan, former Newcastle player, of course, and he was talking about how the person who should be manager now is Steve Bruce, because you've got to. I mean, the current crop of players, would any manager that's available on the market now be able to come in and do anything better with the players he currently got?
Yeah, I think there's better. There is better managers on the market.
That's what he was saying. That's what
I understand the rhetoric. Steve Bruce is more used to that grind of a relegation battle. That makes sense. But as Tanner and I said at the beginning of the show, there are some managers who are available who I think would take this crop of players and make them better than they are. Unai Emery is one that comes to mind for me. But as Tanner said, Frank Lampard is the front runner, and I think that's ridiculous. I think that's absolutely the worst managerial signing that they could make.
I would actually pick either Steve Bruce or one of his assistants over Frank Lampard to take the Newcastle United job.
I'd take Wayne Rooney. I would pick Wayne Rooney.
Wayne Rooney would actually be a really good manager for Newcastle United.
He's got a lot. He has a lot of drive. He has a lot of passion for what he's doing. But
he's an uncaged animal.
And to be fair, at Derby,
he likes older women.
He likes perfect for Newcastle.
So Amanda Stavler, now think on, love, think on.
Isn't like her claim to fame that she dated Prince Edward?
In the chat, by the way, guys. According to Rob from UTT, the Great Fire in Rome lasted 6 days to have a honeymoon period.
Of 6 whole days.
To be fair,
we'll be back on Sunday next week to burn St James Park to the ground. You've got a week to get out.
Goodness.
So, Matt, whilst you're here, I mean, I know we haven't really covered a lot of the match yet, but I think we still kind of Joe dropped about Newcastle taking the fight to Spurs, and they're certainly doing that now, pinning Spurs back. But Matt, I have to take umbrage with your performance in the early parts of Radio Tekkers yesterday. First of all, what was this all about? Yay, no mags. What was that all about?
I was playing a character, sir. I was playing a character, and Tanner paid me to do it.
And also, you was asked what players you would sign if money was no object. What players would you sign to improve your squad? And you went with money no object. Bear in mind, take money out of the equation. You went with Yuri Tielemans. Now, I am a massive fan of Yuri Tielemans, but money no object. There are better players in the world than Yuri Tielemans.
Not in his position.
Bollocks. Joshua Kimmich.
Joshua Kimmich is
he's arguably the best player in that position in the world.
I would still rather have Yuri Tielemans. I'm going to stand by that. And I'd like to point out, Mags, you say, well, you're wrong for who you pick. I'm still top of the Tekkers fantasy league. So I'm doing something.
Have you got Yuri Tielemans in your team? No. Well,
because
then put him in and let's see.
I can't. I've got no waivers.
Doesn't Mags have Yuri Tielemans in his team?
Yeah, I believe he does.
I think that's actually
Yeah, but I didn't have money no object. But money was incredibly an object. I'm still rock bottom anyway, so you don't ever listen to what I say. But I think when you said money no object and then you threw in Tielemans, I was aghast.
You're entitled to your opinion, Mags, on this one. But I personally, because I was looking at improving Liverpool as the team, if it was for Newcastle, I would say I stand by as well. They should. If I was Newcastle, I'd spend as much money as possible. Oh, he's got those. Okay, fair enough. It's quite close though.
No, not really.
It was.
Tanner is 24 points clear.
Where did that come from? My word.
So Tanner got 52 points this week. You picked up 28.
And that because normally it's quite
and
close.
I picked up 28 as well. I mean, you're miles ahead of me. So Tanner's like 45 points ahead of me.
I did have Bobby in my team. I wanted to have him, but I didn't have the Liverpool picks. But Salah scored again. And can I get we're objective, Mag. So we'll get me and Tanner are. So as an outsider point of view, you have seen the Salah pass for Mane's goal. Was it the best pass of the year or not?
Wow.
I mean, that's incredibly subjective. It was certainly absolutely amazing. Because
I've seen some people who are way more biased than me and Tanner are combined saying that is the best performance ever by Liverpool front three. I'm like, calm it down, boys. Calm it down.
I mean, it is a really good performance. I haven't thought about that. What I've been thinking about is which goal was better from Salah, the one he scored against City or the one he scored against Watford? Both are amazing.
Even Salah said he can't decide which one was the best, which is just phenomenal.
They're both brilliant goals. I personally prefer the Man City one because they sat down Diaz.
And also Man City are infinitely more high caliber opponent than Watford are.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. What he did against Watford, it was spectacular.
Oh, it was phenomenal. That was certainly the best performance from the Liverpool front line in 2 years since they were Premier League winners. But I think Salah may be the best player now, like in world football. I think
he probably is.
He's so damn good.
Quietly, because people in a farmers league may say otherwise.
People can hear.
Messi's gone to a farmers league, and his numbers are abysmal.
Nout.
Yeah.
Nout.
He's not doing good.
But some people say the thing about a French striker who will be out of contract next summer as well. And
I mean,
apparently, Genie Wijnaldum, according to a certain press, is regretting his move a little bit.
Well, yeah, even more reason for Mo Salah not to consider a move to PSG.
It to be Real. The paper this morning are saying...
It to be Newcastle.
The papers this morning are saying... Tanner, the paper this morning are saying... Well, one paper is saying... I'm not going to give it credit, but it's a red troll, let's put it that way. Is saying Liverpool will sell Mo Salah to Real Madrid in exchange for 30 million and Eden Hazard.
It's not going to happen.
No way.
No.
If Liverpool make one signing and is that in Ndombele?
It is.
That is in Ndombele.
He's finally back in the team.
Yeah,
back in the team, back in the goals.
It's a great strike.
I think he only does great strikes. He only does worldies. That was a quality finish.
Talk it for us, Max.
Yeah, so a long ball up. I can't even see who's got the ball, but it's essentially played into him. He's on the edge of the 80-yard box, got a defender blocking his way. He leans back, falls over as he want to do. He's so good at that. But floats it past Darlow into the top corner.
And he bent it round the defender as well. It's really good strike.
That's a really top finish. And Steve Bruce is thinking, I really do need that shit now.
That's his first goal of the season.
I better roll back that fuck you to Amanda Staveley now.
All I can think of is the number 8. It just keeps popping up in my mind. 8.
Ndombele is his first goal of the season. He only scored 3 the whole of last year. If no one to go to the Euros.
I mean, is his job to be an out-and-out goal scorer, though?
No, I guess not. But at the same time, when you're meant to be getting goals from everywhere, not just...
How many goals has he got more than Harry Kane this season? Harry Kane, whose sole job is to score goals.
Harry Kane, I think, has got double him.
This season, how is he? He's got 0.
I thought Kane's got 2.
No, he's got 0 goals and 0 assists.
In that case, then he had more. That's quite funny.
Infinitely more.
So, wouldn't it be quite funny after all the pursuit of Harry Kane this summer by Manchester City if Newcastle United picked up Harry Kane instead?
That in this Tottenham team right now is sideways move. That's not.
I think we've got
a step down. Right.
We have our first expletive ever in the chat from Conor McCabe.
Let me see here.
Bruce thought his job was safe when Newcastle scored in the second minute. Then Spurs tied it up, and he thought, shit, there goes my job."
I mean, yeah, he probably.
Where was that Steve Bruce from?
From Los Santos.
Steve L. Brucio.
Oh goodness!
And Newcastle coming straight back at Spurs, though.
Yeah, to their credit, and to be fair, this would be quite a good game for you guys. Hope to watch the second half.
If Steve Bruce was Italian, Stefan Bruno, I think maybe he's he would
See, at
least be keeping a job. It would at least be keeping his job.
People keep talking about Newcastle, who we should be signing, and I just think that at the moment you should be focusing more on not running before you can walk. I mean, you've got a lot of money now, but money doesn't bring happiness straight away. You've got to, as Max said, you've got to nurture it properly. You've got to get the best players for the position. You've got to have a coach that is going to be worked with.
You got to have the infrastructure.
Yeah, but you look at the team that they've got and the squad that they've got, and they've got people who you would cut today if you had the opportunity. John Joe Shelvey,
championship level side.
You would get rid of John Joe Shelvey. You would get rid of Hendrick. You would get rid of Dwight Gale. These are players who are stealing livings. And
Dwight Gale is probably the best striker outside Callum Wilson.
No.
Only striker outside Callum Wilson as well, for that matter.
I mean, I would rather play Manquillo up front than Dwight Gale.
Manquillo, a right back who couldn't crack it as a loan signing at Liverpool.
Well, I mean, why do you think that they've converted Saint Maximin to a striker, basically, at an almost full-time pace?
And I don't even think that was planned. I think it's just he was the only one performing week in, week out, and it's give him the ball and just let him do what he wants, and it's working.
Oh, it's Spurs through! Oh, it's exquisite.
That's Harry Kane.
It's Harry Kane.
First
and look how he doesn't.
He's offside.
Oh, that's why he didn't celebrate, man. He was off.
I was just going to say there was no celebration whatsoever.
Yeah, it's not even close. He's wild off.
He is that, and he runs back to trying to get back on top.
I think VAR is saying, "Oh, come on! You actually have to do the VAR thing."
Yeah, I mean,
you can see if I like the pitch.
You could fit another body there, and he would be offside.
Indeed.
But he's found where the goal is,
which is good news.
Bad news for Newcastle.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how I feel like that's triple or not, by the way, for Spurs.
You don't know
I'm not sure if I like it or not.
The what?
The Spurs
kit? It's not, I mean, the kit's not.
Yeah, it's horrible.
It's been given!
They've given the goal. Wow.
How has that been given?
Wow.
Have they counted Steve Bruce as one of the players? Did he run onto the pitch at lightning speed?
Are we looking at the wrong person? I think there might be someone in the right.
Yeah, there must be. Yeah, there must be a.
Showing the replay again now.
There must be a wing back keeping him on because
yes!
those two
at the top.
The
right back playing him on.
Manquillo kept him on side.
Eek, Jesus, and I was just pimping him to go forward.
Yeah, you should just put him up front.
Indeed,
Seto Kaba. This has to be the best game of the weekend. It's completely turned around. It's almost like beating Yu-Gi-Oh, sir. So yeah, that's my Seto Kaba's a character in Yu-Gi-Oh. That's right.
It is. Yeah.
Is he? Oh, okay.
It's amazing that you knew that, but
well,
my sister was
I'm a very
Yu-Gi-Oh.
I'm a very cultured.
I didn't
young
paint
man,
you an anime fan.
Yeah.
Well,
My sister was very much into Yu-Gi-Oh. I was much more of a Magic the Gathering kind of guy.
oh, nerd alert!
I can't comment. I'm a D&D guy.
Yes, you
Right.
are.
Also,
Parent nerd.
continues. Tottenham and Leicester have been dog poop this season. They chose this weekend to change.
Yeah, they chose violence. They have risen up against this Saudi invasion. And Harry Kane is looked up at Amanda Stable and said, "Sign me. I don't want to play for these bag of toss anymore."
I'll take Alan Shearer's record. I'll put it in my image.
And another comment. Newcastle are in the shadow realm unless they score a goal. Loving the anime references.
They're certainly going to need some sort of blue eyes white dragon to save them from this. There we go.
Mags. We got to get you talking Benjamin Banks at some point. So absolutely. Tom Colligue in the chat saying, "DD hate from Mags? Wow, you can go off people, you know." Tom Colligue, email me at UK.
I don't hate D&D. I said on View from the Top Rope, I've never really played it, but I do enjoy listening along to Dungeons and Junkies because I find it relaxing. It's almost like listening to an audiobook.
And we do appreciate kind words. By the way,
you can put it on and get on with whatever you need to do. And Dom Ellis has been punched in the face.
Indeed, Simon from Chain Wrestling often messages me at 4 a.m. after listening to a couple of episodes.
He has got an American body clock. It's unreal. He sends me messages like, what do you think about this idea for chain wrestling this week? And I'm like, motherfucker, I am asleep. I think it's an amazing idea.
But at the same time, speaking about it quite quickly before we move on, this coming Friday, we are dropping Chris's second one-shot mags, where so a lot of chaos is going to happen. It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Is that a Visionaries Global Media show?
It is a VDM episode.
Can you please not pimp it on Radio Tekkers? Thank you very much.
I have to for a bingo card, mate.
No. It's good. I implore people, if you're even slightly interested in Dungeons and Dragons,
they're not looking quite happy up there now in the box.
Amanda Staveley.
Why did we not buy Tottenham? This is your fault, Amanda Staveley. Off with your head.
Say,
never trust a woman.
Crikey. Sato says Kane wants to join Newcastle next to Mbappe. Tom Gollihue saying that's a t-shirt right there. Motherfucker, I'm asleep.
Last season when we watched multiple 0-0 draws, we could have been asleep and it would have been infinitely more interesting.
At all. Not 1-0. We've had a dire 1-0.
It's actually been eight goals in 1 1/4 matches this weekend for Tekkers. That may be a record.
Oh,
indeed. I tell you what, it was a great one to be involved in.
Because it was a massive Liverpool win. Yeah,
it was great to be involved in.
He won't bring us down to earth with facts.
But at the same time, it's also equally good to watch a game in the neutral.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, I feel you were robbed, you say, Max.
No, I think we were very lucky to keep it at 2-0.
I wouldn't feel that you should point out the game, but that's it.
Let's see.
It's cool. You're wrong, but it's cool.
Tom Colley, who is using offensive language in the chat there, you should give matches a Shagger Dave style rating, but 0 star is a motherfucker I'm asleep rating.
And
I like that idea, actually. Yeah.
And after watching this match, definitely go over and check out some of Tom's content on YouTube and his Twitch streams. Superb. One of my very much go-to people for wrestling news and spoilers. He's an amazing source and a really cool guy as well. So I'll definitely go and give him some love and a follow.
Absolutely, Mr. Colloque obviously drops in every now and again on the volley.
Always puts over Radio Tekkers, and so massively appreciate him.
Absolutely, thank you very much. And it also pops up in the volley chat usually, so don't forget to turn up tomorrow for the volley with myself, Mac and Tanner.
Ooh, I've not done the volley before. This'll be fun.
It's almost like you're on too many shows on Radio Tekkers, Tanner.
I've done too many things.
It's about time you kind of you curved it a little bit.
So yeah, the volley will be out tomorrow. Of course, we're going to be going live with that. Of course, that will be 7:00 Eastern, 6:00 Central, and midnight UK time. Of course, you can watch it on demand.
Tom Colloque in the chat, of course, mostly to Mags, I believe, says, "Oh, thanks, bro. I nearly forgive you for being anti D&D now."
I feel like I've been running for initiative or something like here.
Listen, Tom. Don't make me get out my 20-sided die and throw a critical roll.
Oh, wow.
Is that actually a thing? I think that's a thing.
That is a rolling a 20 is a critical hit. Yes.
Wow.
It's not always a guaranteed win, but it's a critical hit, yes. So yeah, Max is learning, see? It's all good. And the thing is, what annoys me is that obviously Graham, my character, is a good cop, bad cop. He has a real problem with D&D, and that's because it's a bit boring. The amount of maths involved in that, you'd think he'd be loving it, wouldn't you, Max?
I mean, to be fair, I watched the pre-show for Good Cop, Bad Cop, and Graham said he got a 3 set of aerobic discs. Oh, that made me want to buy some. The triangle one was the absolute bomb.
Indeed.
Maybe not be something that you remember, Tanner.
I had one.
What?
Do you remember? Oh, thanks for keeping along with the chat there, Tanner.
I'm trying to
concentrating on the fucking game here. No, aerobic. You know the
aerobic.
They got the breaking.
Newcastle.
It should have been 2-2.
Yeah,
that's a great through ball as well.
Mm.
That was a great little through ball through the legs.
We also missed Alan St. Maximin basically dribbling past most of the Spurs team to try and thread through a pass to Wilson just a few moments ago, but it was for naught. This aerobie, what is this?
So it's like a frisbee, but it's essentially like a circle. But they are like the best frisbees in the world. And you could get a triangle shaped one, which was kind of like a boomerang, but it would go for miles before coming back.
Wow. Okay, that's pretty dope.
Yeah, they are cool. So now on to you mentioned St. Maximin. Before this Saudi takeover, I would have pinned him for moving to a bigger club. Whether that be in January or whether it be next season. Do you think he now stays? Do you think he becomes the kind of focal point for the next season or so?
I personally believe, Mag, that if you've got a player of St. Maximin quality, and he has got genuine quality, you need other players to bring them more out of him. I think that if they can get in a couple players this season and then slowly build to it, I would suggest maybe especially a centre half to partner the shell because I think they need it. Maybe someone to complement St. Maxim because I do like Callum Wilson, but I don't think. I don't know if he's necessarily the man to lead the line long term if they've got all the money to spend.
I mean, at Bournemouth, with the very limited chances he got, he was outstanding. I think if you provide him with the chances to score, Callum Wilson will score. He's a natural predator in the box. So I think if he's given more opportunities to score, he's going to be a 20 goals a season player. So
I think if he gets one,
I think he's safe. I think he's safe. I think the team, for me, you would build at least over the next 18 months or so around St. Maximin until you can attract elite level players. But yeah, can you imagine some top draw player? I mean, John McGinn feeding into St. Maximin and Wilson. That'd be outstanding.
Tanner's just gone cross-eyed.
Yeah, the Scottish Zidane himself, John McGinn.
Yeah, it's got good guys today.
Yeah, I don't know why you guys shit on him all the time. He's a.
I think he's my
That's literally never happened. We have never shit on John McGinn at all. This is not a Thiago situation. We rate John McGinn, just we don't think he walks on water like you do.
He's the Scottish Zidane, man. He scores amazing goals. He's very deft with the passing.
That was a very much a block check there by Sean Longstaff, pick up a booking. But I think if they're getting that, I think that's the level of players that Newcastle should be aiming at. Obviously, with fans, they're going to want superstar players.
They want Mbappe. They want Haaland.
It's not realistic. It really isn't realistic. But you can certainly see Newcastle picking off players from rivals in and around them to better their teams. I mean, there's massive talks about James Tarkowski going there now after being linked to West Ham last season and being out of contract. I believe he's got a gentleman's agreement where if the money's right in January, it can go. I think he's infinitely better than Clark, so he would certainly improve Newcastle.
Yeah, he'd actually complement Lascelles pretty well stylistically too. Lascelles,
and it would also put him back in Gareth Southgate's England plans because
which is where he needs to be. To be fair, he should be in my opinion, but it is what it is.
It's the unfashionableness.
Tarkowski would be a good signing for Newcastle without question. I think that I would also probably throw in there. I think that I like the goalkeeper at Newcastle, but I do feel that you need to start with a strong keeper, and I think they need to maybe find a new one, and that's where they may go for like a Jan Oblak.
No, I mean that's a level above. For me, Jan Oblak, Tanner mentioned him as the money no object players, and that for me was more realistic than Yuri Tielemans. and that's
who got the winner ball back.
Oof. Joelinton, no,
and just can't get the shot off. But Jan Oblak has been consistently top 2 keepers in the world over the last 5 years, and I saw a statistic yesterday where he's directly been responsible for 10 points on average per season for Atletico Madrid. So when Tanner said he doesn't get in over Alisson, for me, he absolutely does. If it's a choice between Oblak and Alisson, I would pick Oblak every single time.
I thought with the conversation was the context was about Liverpool. Would he make it into Liverpool? I thought was Matt's question, but. But yeah, I think for Newcastle United specifically, Jan Oblak makes
he makes the cut in every team that he goes to.
Yeah,
sure. I mean,
but at the same time, you sign him, that's fine. But then you've got all the other players got to be thinking around him, sort of thing. So maybe he wouldn't be the first place you do it. I think a centre half definitely, and maybe a decent winger to provide the service.
Yeah, you're gonna need somebody with some speed.
Yeah, Oblak is out of the realms of possibility for me. He's not going to go,
gentlemen.
He's not going to go from La Liga winner, competing in Champions League year on year, to mid-table in the Premier League with the likes of Manquillo and Richie in front of him.
I gotta disagree. There's only so many trophies you can win, but
he needs the challenge.
But he needs the challenge, and he needs to get paid. Oh goodness! Is there any word? Connor McCabe in the chat. Is there any word on Pulisic and Reina return from injury? States is going to need them badly up front come the November window. I've not heard of anything on Pulisic. I think that last I heard he was he had COVID and he's recovered, but I don't think that Thomas Tuchel really favors Pulisic in the system he's using at Chelsea right now.
So I think Pulisic was out against Brentford because of an ankle injury.
Oh, was that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't think it's long term. I think it's only a few days. But again, I don't think he's in Thomas Tuchel's plans long term. So I can see him shifting on perhaps in January, maybe going out on loan somewhere or even a permanent move. As for Gio Reyna, I have no clue of his of his injury. So let's have a quick look.
Well, while looking up, Mags, I'm going to throw a name out there who I think could end up winding up at Newcastle in the season. That's Raheem Sterling.
I mean, Raheem Sterling would be interesting.
Because there's lots
he's
of them leaving, and if it is a part of this is a new project.
It's the step down, though. It's not having the historical chops to be in the top.
But
now
he could become an absolute legend in Newcastle for actually taking that team to the next level.
Now, the flip side of this coin here is we just talked about Christian Pulisic not being favored at Chelsea.
And Tottenham just head out against the bar.
We talked about Christian Pulisic not being favored at Chelsea. Christian Pulisic, I think, would be a really good solution for this Newcastle team.
And more realistic, a more realistic signing as well.
Keyboard's nowhere.
While Sterling is out of favour at City, he gets into every other top 6 team. If he came back to Liverpool, he would be embraced with open arms. He's that good. Come on, don't talk wet.
I'm going to Mags. When Sterling came on in the 1-1 draw in the 2-2 draw of a week, he got booed out the stadium.
I understand that, but if he put pen to paper and he signed a deal with Liverpool, all that would be forgotten. He would be a hero again. He would be the prodigal son returning home.
Personally, Max, I beg to differ there.
Well, if it happens, we'll see.
He's always said that Liverpool is in his heart.
Yes.
That's what he has said consistently.
Yes, but Liverpool may be in his heart, but in the end of the day, he wants to. I know he has the desire to become legendary, and he
left the trophy.
The way that he left was just so corrosive that.
But that's mainly down to his agent, I think, as well.
Yeah, it would take so much for Liverpool to, to go back in on that, and it's
very showing a certain part of the.
I think something's going on in the stands.
Is he getting?
The players are not aware of something, apparently.
I think one Newcastle player is certainly aware. Look. Are we hearing racist chants? I mean, I always have the game on mute because copyright.
I'm quickly checking Twitter now, Mags. Someone's actually gone.
Oh, Eric Dyer.
Oh, there is a medical team.
Oh,
wow! And they're bringing him on, and Eric Dyer saying, "Move quick." He's really—is that the defib as well?
A defib in hand, yeah.
Oh.
Oof. This has turned very, very dark very, very quickly. The referee gathering all of the players together.
We saw in the Euros how quick you got to work. Mm-hmm. Ironically, with a former Spurs player. This is. We'll keep you both as best we can, gentlemen and ladies and others. But we are kind of being caught off guard here.
Feels very, very worrying. And unfortunately, this is one of the issues with live commentary especially when we
apparently it's not it's someone in the stands. Apparently, someone in the stands needs medical help. It's not a player. Apparently he raced to the dugout to ask for a stretcher and chest compressions. Thing has been halted for it. One of the fans is in need of medical attention immediately. Wishing him all the best of luck there.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, this is like you mentioned with the Euros, how quickly these medical teams are able to get involved and essentially be lifesavers. There's no two ways about it.
Indeed. I'm getting a cold chill on my spine, mate.
A lot of the players are looking like really affected by this, especially the Tottenham players.
Well, I suppose they went through a little bit during. I mean, because obviously Eriksen was such a big part of their team before he left for Inter Milan. It probably hit him a bit hard when he saw him collapse during the year. I mean, there'd be some players who were in the camp here, obviously. I feel. But
props to, I mean, as much grief as we give the players props to the likes of Eric Dyer for seeing the problem and getting the medical team involved straight away. Yeah, that's a class act. A class act by him.
Sky have gone to a when they are showing the ground, they are showing players on the touchline. They're showing a wide angle shot. We are seeing the a mass of high vis jackets and shirts in a certain area. Conor McCabe in the chat is asking what has happened. It seems that there's a member of the fans in medical issue, and they've requested stretcher and medical assistance. And from what I can tell, 4 medical teams are now in attendance.
Wow.
Which shows how fast they can get to anywhere in the ground, so that's good. I feel kind of ooky, boys. I haven't had this happen during a game, thankfully, before.
Yeah, this is.
There's 4 minutes to go before half time. So
the worrying side of football when you see. At the end of the day, it's a game. It's we love the sport passionately, and we get very kind of heated about our teams and rivalries. But when it comes to life and death situations like this, we as a community should always gather around and do what we can to support. So I hope the fan, whoever he or she is, gets all the treatment that they need and can quickly be back on the feet and back watching a game again. So yeah, this is very, very worrying.
Yeah, worrying for them. Well, again, looks like the players are ready to resume. It looks like.
Yeah, it looks like the players are making their way back onto the
Højbjerg,
field.
of course, who was part of that, who was part of the Danish team, of course.
Yes.
Probably getting a bit of having felt a war flashback probably for him. Bless him. He probably didn't even know he'd have to go back on.
But yeah, again, it bears repeating that. Well played to all the playing staff, all the referees and linesmen and all the officials for halting the game and getting this person the medical attention that they needed.
The referees are checking everything is under control. Looks like they're talking to the people now, and looks like they are going to be okay.
That's good. I mean, him wearing the flat cap doesn't look okay. Looks like he's just come off the farm, but.
Accurate, to be fair. So police and stewards are all saying, I can't read because you've actually got a mask on, to be fair.
Oh, there you go.
But they've said 7 minutes to be added on. They're going off.
Wow. Is this abandoned? Is this the match being abandoned, or we're just calling early half time? I can't.
Honestly, now.
Callum Wilson now, they're talking with the referee. A lot of the Tottenham players are also talking with the linesman. Yeah, it looks like they're making their way to the tunnel area. So has Steve Bruce's 1,000th match and potentially last match in charge of Newcastle ended? Yeah, because we've now gone to a break in the UK.
Not only that, Mag, but when they went to a break in the UK, they went to it with no fanfare over the exit as well.
What is going on?
That's not a good thing. Unfortunately, this is where I unfortunately have to tag out. So I leave Tekkers in your very capable hands, gentlemen. I'm going
to try and dig for whatever information I can find. But
I dare say that you gentlemen will do your best, and you, as always, I will see you two both tomorrow for the volley. Ewan, have a good rest of the show, right. And
yep. Thanks for popping on. In. It was good to have you on, whether the feeling is mutual or not. But yeah, go and enjoy the rest of your day, sir.
Absolutely. My thoughts and wishes to end whoever's affected in the stadium.
Yeah. So
I'm out of here.
reading directly from the Newcastle from the Sky Sports website. Andre Mariner called the players off. The game is suspended for the time being whilst medics attend to what's happened in the stands. Just to be clear, the emergency is concerning one single fan. For understandable reasons, cameras are not focusing on the incident, but there is a huge crowd of medics attending somebody in the East Stand at St James Park. It seems that fans started signalling to players and the referee to get medical attention before Oliver Skipp and Eric Dyer ran to the dugout, gesturing for stretchers and defibs. And Andre Mariner has gone over to the East Stand to talk to the stewards and the police officer, and he has signalled for all the players to go inside for the time being. So, quite a worrying end to the first half. Well, not even the end. I think there was a few minutes of the half to go. But yeah, our thoughts and our prayers are with the fan. Hopefully, like we said, he can get he or she can get the medical attention that they need, and it's a testament to football that it shows that it's not as important as sometimes we give it credit for. That the health and well-being of fans is absolutely paramount, and the referee made the decision to suspend the game. I've got to give Andre Mariner props for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a move that I don't think you see, unfortunately, very often here in the States. Normally, if there's a medical emergency here, within the stands, it's normally a very isolated incident, and it's done quickly, to at least assist in the effort. But here we're seeing, a fairly large amount of compassion here for this individual. And like you said, thoughts are with that person and their families and their loved ones.
So Newcastle United's official Twitter have confirmed that players been temporarily suspended due to concern for a supporter in the stands, which is absolutely very much the right thing to do. And Sky Sports are singling out Sergio Reguilon for particular praise for getting attention of the referee and the medics so fast. The Spurs players especially were very on the ball in sorting out to get the medical team involved, and it's a testament to the camaraderie of football. Yes, very, very worrying. I mean, after everything that happened with Christian Eriksen as well, the last thing that football needs is incidents like this, and it's absolutely heartbreaking. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all people. We may support different teams, we may have arguments and disagreements about players and results and things like that, but the last thing we want is for people to be suffering like this and being unwell. So,
yeah, it's a very scary moment because in one instance we were talking and being jovial and enjoying the game, and then anything can happen, right? And, as soon as the camera started panning into the crowd, obviously there was something seriously wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got Chris, the roving reporter / executive producer / president / ball boy / tease maid / cleaner of Radio Tekkers. He said, "Hey up, lads, just popping in. Lost a lot of respect for Nuno. What was he mourning for? The idiot." I didn't actually see any reaction from Nuno. Maybe it's a miscommunication of what's going on. I'm sure he didn't mean any disrespect, and I'm sure he'll make a statement regarding this. But I hasten to read a lot into initial reactions because sometimes you don't always have the correct information. You don't always know fully what's going on. So maybe it was a case of that. if after he's still got all the same information, is still moaning and whining about it, then fair play. But as of right now, I can't judge him too harshly about it.
I will make note that I am missing some tea and biscuits, Chris.
Oh, Jesus. And he likes 2 lumps of sugar in his tea.
2 lumps and some creamer, okay? That's one.
And he says, I guess you can call me a cleaner because I have to sort out all your shit. Exactly.
No, much love to Chris. Chris is an amazing guy. And
yeah. Very hard work behind the scenes. He's become quickly an integral part of Radio Tekkers.
Absolutely.
We absolutely adore Chris. And all the team. That whilst we've got a break, it gives us a chance to throw a little bit of light on the team we went at Radio Tekkers. And we are very, very blessed. I mean, me and Tanner have been part of some cool content creating teams. Some that have burnt brightly and burnt out fast. Some that were toxic from the start. But I think for me, at least, this Radio Tekkers team, whilst we do have disagreements and we do have debates, we are all singing from the same hymn sheet. We're all pushing in the same direction, and we've got some supremely talented content creators. I mean, check back in the archives for the likes of Ori and an interview with Kevin Keller. That was outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. Chris and his football analysis on the shorts and on the what is happening at Newcastle videos, just phenomenal. And also Matt shows up week in and week out as well. So we do have that. But one person or one couple of people I do want to give props to. Sar Powell. I know I work with him on a regular basis with chain wrestling, but the work ethic that guy puts in is phenomenal. Just really getting close to dropping the waiting room, which I'm incredibly excited about. I think he's been phenomenal in this group. And you, Tanner, as much as I give you grief, backstage how much I appreciate and love you, not only as someone who I work with, but as a friend and a person. So I think we've worked wonders with this team. We've got some amazingly talented people, and still more to come. Hopefully, we'll get some content with the likes of Conrad and one of our good friends, Mr. Ray Cash, is hopefully starting his new series very, very soon. A supremely talented wrestling analyst and creator. So some really good things coming in the very near future on Radio Tekkers. So keep your eyes out, and we may be spreading our wings a little. I'm sure Tanner can give more information on that. But we're looking to kind of separate the content into more keeping more content, similar content together, I suppose.
I mean, and just a quick word of note here, this began as you and I, what, a year and a half, 2 years ago. And
I mean, there's no, I make no bones about it. I was the test case for Tanner. This was Tanner's idea, and he asked if I would be on the test episode. And we've always had chemistry. I mean, the times we've done after dark episodes on Headlock Talk. Jesus Christ, by God,
by God.
But when Tanner approached me with this idea, I was all in from the day one.
Well, and there was a lot of people that I reached out to that either showed little to no interest or didn't even respond, and the fact that you went all in with it,
turned up. I'm only involved because I turned up.
It meant the world to me that you actually were like, hey, yeah, like let's do this. Like, you know, like you consistently were like, yeah, I want to do this. I want to be a part of a new project, and that meant so much to me. And then the fact that, you know, like I said, Matt came along as well. Matt asked, you know, he asked me for weeks, hey, what are you guys doing on Tekkers? What are you guys doing on Tekkers? And
we were like, fuck off, Matt. You're not coming on.
I won't lie. I'm very guarded when it comes to starting new things, and so like all the time, I'm not the quickest person to be like, okay, let's get a lot of people involved. But Matt was persistent, and the times that he showed up, he was absolutely phenomenal. And look at him now. He's now doing the volley on Mondays, rocking it out, doing match recaps, and kind of keeping the old Tekkers spirit of match recap shows alive. And that's absolutely fantastic, you know.
Yeah, and going back to that first time that we really kind of pushed for Radio Tekkers to be a thing, we've always been involved in group projects as team members. Back in the Brainbuster days, we were part of the team. In our short time with Shooting the Sports Ish, we were part of the team. We were never the kind of the masterminds behind the project. We were always kind of like the cogs, the workhorses almost. Not to blow our own trumpets, but the workhorses of a team. And when you mentioned about us starting from fresh and building up something new, that excited me because I've always been involved in podcasts, but never as part of a starting our own kind of I don't want to say network because it's not really network, our own kind of group, our own kind of team of content creators, and the thought of doing that and being able to kind of dictate our own future was really, really exciting. And props to Tony and all the teams over at Shooting the Sports Ish, and also for Visionaries Global Media for giving us those early bases to kind of really find our voice. But we quickly understood that we wanted this to be bigger than perhaps we could have been under someone else's umbrella. We wanted that creative freedom, and when you're part of someone else's team, you don't necessarily get that. I mean, we couldn't have done the shorts. We couldn't have done the rapid reviews. We couldn't have done the volley under somebody else's umbrella. So we always felt that we were going to outgrow. And I don't mean that in any disrespect to Shooting the Sports Issue or to Visionaries Global Media, but we wanted this to be more than just a show in a team. We wanted it to be a thing, its own entity.
Well, and I think that one key thing here too, and I'll get to the the thing that you were speaking about earlier about the different kind of content that we're going to be working on. I think that one thing that came abundantly clear is that you and I, for anybody who's out there who's watching this or listening to this, we come from our start being like pro wrestling podcasting, which might shock a few of you out there. I don't know. But that's how Mags and I, and I would say Matt as well, kind of got our start into podcasting, is talking about pro wrestling. And with the connections that we have, like you said, with Visionaries Global Media, or even Shooting the Sports Ish to a degree, like a lot of the people who tune into that are from that community. Like you know, they also share a pro wrestling background. So when we put out things like, hey, we're doing this football show, it's like, oh, okay, well, we've got a lot of wrestling. Like, how does this football show mix in with you know, these other 5 or 6 shows that are about pro wrestling instead? So, you know, it's it was an experiment for Mags and I to see, can we do more with podcasting than just talk about pro wrestling? And that's kind of where we are now. Ironically enough, and I think this gets to the point that you were making, we've got this Radio Tekkers channel now, and much of the content is pro wrestling. in one way or another. I mean, we've got with chain wrestling, what you and Sai do, which is absolutely amazing. We've had debate shows and like pay-per-view reviews, match reviews, and these kind of things. And then, of course, we're bringing in Ori and Ray, and they are pro wrestling analysts. So what they're going to, what's going to end up happening here, especially as we bring in a change in attitude to do live shows, which is the show that me and Mags and Ori do for podcasting over on the Chairshot Media Network. As we start doing a change in attitude, we're going to see that as this match is actually about to kick off, Newcastle United and Spurs is about to commence.
To restart, yeah. And I'm hearing that the supporter who became ill has now gone to hospital, so hopefully they'll get the medical attention that they need.
Indeed. But yes, what we're going to end up seeing more in the future is that the Tekkers wrestling content is going to be under Tekkers Wrestling, I presume. So Tekkers Wrestling is going to have its own YouTube channel where you can actually watch all of our very talented content creators make wrestling related content. So no more of this. You've got your wrestling in my football, and you've got my football in your wrestling kind of stuff.
And I think that was the mentality that we both kind of agreed on, and we've certainly with input from Matt is we are gathering a really cool audience here, lots of diverse content, but we didn't want one certain content overshadowing another certain content, and we didn't want to kind of pigeonhole the channel into being one certain kind of sport or one style of content. So when we kind of expanded and wrestling took a hold, it seemed a little bit unfair to the rest of the content that we have with wrestling, especially with the wrestling content being so popular. So it only made sense to kind of transition that into its own kind of sub-channel under the whole Radio Tekkers umbrella. But that's not to say it will be going away and you have to subscribe to that channel or else you are not going to see it. There'll certainly be a very decent transition period, but the aim would be to have wrestling content on one channel, football content on another channel, and in the future MMA, pop culture, whatever kind of other topics we decide to delve into, all with their own dedicated place where you could go and find them. Yes, it's very ambitious. Yes, we are certainly kind of very much future-proofing for growth, and we're under no illusions that we are incredibly small in the grand scheme of things. But we're hungry and we're ambitious, and we want to make this a huge success, not only for ourselves but for the viewers and the subscribers. So we are certainly looking to build for the future. And as we say that, I've just got a notification up. I must be a few seconds behind. Going to be something pretty big in the next minute or so, Tanner. As we see Ndombele, ball comes through, Kane all the way across, and there it is. Heung-min Son with Spurs' third goal.
Dang.
Wow. I mean, it's very, very muted considering what's happened over the last 20 minutes or so. But yeah, this Spurs team coming to life. Are we seeing a resurgence in Spurs now?
That's a really good question.
I mean,
because
of now they're fifth. As of now in the table, they're fifth place.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they've played very much Jekyll and Hyde this kind of this season. Whereas I think last year they were, I think they were top of the league at this point.
They won the first 7 games, and then they fell down pretty quickly and pretty hard. But yeah, this season has not been the Tottenham of old, certainly not. But if this victory stays as it is, then moving to fifth. Have we got Kane and Son backfiring on all cylinders? Mm-hmm. Perhaps it needed a performance like this from Kane to push Spurs, because on paper they are a very good side. Mm-hmm. They were certainly not performing to the levels that they should have been, and I think Nuno is a very adept manager. He worked wonders at Wolves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that Kane and Son partnership has always produced results. In fact, it's one of the most prolific partnerships I would say in Premier League history. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just Spurs have had some pretty, I think
Saint-Maximin, the mercurial talisman of Newcastle, there trying to create a chance essentially out of nothing, cutting across very Kanchelskis-like across the box and firing one just wide.
It was a good attempt though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but Spurs has been an interesting watch this season. And I think we've actually watched Spurs more than we did last year. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've kind of yo-yoed in terms of form. It seems like when they played against Arsenal, they were terrible against Arsenal. Mm-hmm. But here against Newcastle, and they're looking great. Another big moment there for Newcastle, though. It gets deflected off the defender. Spurs now on the counter. Son, that was a horrible tackle. Son is still on the ground. Play is continuing.
Yeah, there's no sign of it even being kicked off to put it out of play.
Son goes down yet again.
Son gets back up and then is essentially knocked down again.
There's another Spurs player down on the ground as well. This is been a bit of a calamity here. Saint-Maximin trying to thread the ball through, and it goes nowhere.
Who is it that's down? Is it Ndombele? Oh, no, Højbjerg and like, Saint-Maximin are fighting.
Looks like Emerson. Højbjerg,
Romero
he stepped
Wilson.
in for Romero. He stepped in for Romero because Saint-Maximin and Romero were kind of chatty as the ball went out of play.
And then once Højbjerg was speaking to Saint-Maximin, it looked like Wilson was squaring up with Romero as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks like Emerson Royale is down on the ground.
From what? That give over? No, I've now. That's ridiculous. He essentially stubbed his toe on the boot of a Newcastle player who wasn't even looking, so there was definitely no intention there. And he did the most dramatic leap, as if he had been shot in the ankle. With a 12 gauge, his leg swung over his head and he's rolling around as if he'd been liver punched. That was ridiculous.
Emerson limping off the field. I mean,
oh, what a warrior! What a soldier! Jesus Christ!
Oh man.
that was petulant by Emerson Royale for that. It looks like he's given a Newcastle throw in. We must be getting close to the end of this game now, though, because we're on 53 minutes played. Obviously, with that +7.
So I wonder if they're going to go into just like a small break, or if they're just going to keep it running.
Yeah, I think they would still do the 15 minutes.
Yeah, half time.
It is half time. Spurs 3, Newcastle 1. So looking at this first half performance, in the eyes of Amanda Staveley and the Saudi Public Investment Fund, are you instantly regretting your purchase, or is this kind of like does this solidify the reasons why you bought Newcastle? Because it is a club that is in dire need of investment and dire need of change. How would you, Tanner, as leader of the Saudi investment fund, how would you be looking at this game?
Well,
whose head would you be looking to take off their body?
I need to preface that I am not the lead in the Saudi royal investment fund.
He's merely a cog in that wheel.
I mean, oh goodness. I think that I would say it's more of the latter, because what you're looking at right now, the team that is on the pitch for Newcastle is very much still the team that was cobbled together, by Steve Bruce and former ownership here. This is a team built of, honestly, the majority of the players that you're seeing play for Newcastle here, they belong in the championship. Like these are championship quality level players, for better or for worse. I'm certain a few of them may find their way into another Premier League team when all is said and done. But I feel as though I'd be more emboldened about this, because again, this is not the Newcastle that the Amanda Staveley Saudi Arabian consortium regime has in mind. It's very unusual. But I would say that this is more or less emboldening than it is a time to pout, perhaps, about the current state of affairs on the pitch in this game.
Yeah, I mean, anybody with any sense or any kind of business acumen would have looked at Newcastle and known that this was a team who are not good. They are not good. They're not Premier League quality. Without this investment, it was very likely that they would go down. Now, probably, I'm not so sure that they will. But yeah, they could have had no kind of bones about the fact that this is a team that needs fixing. The early goal would have probably pepped them up and given them a little bit of hope, but the next 45 minutes has shown that all hope is lost, and that this is a Newcastle team that are desperate for that funding, and as you said, a team full of players who are not Premier League quality. There's no kind of calling a spade about this. Outside of a couple of players, none of these players will get into most of other Premier League teams, and so it's I think it just emboldens Amanda Staveley and the Saudi team there, that they need to come in, they need to make sweeping changes, and I think it will also mean that Steve Bruce leaves Newcastle tonight for the final time.
UTT Wrestling via Twitch is saying Steve Bruce belongs at home watching football, never mind the championship.
I wouldn't even let him watch football. I wouldn't give him a Sky Sports or BT Sports subscription.
Here's some Benny Hill DVDs and and that's about it.
Just give him UK Gold, where he can watch Blackadder till the end of his days. I mean, take your 8 million. You've absolutely robbed a living as a manager. This is the best you could have ever hoped for, and go off and ride into the sunset, and just live comfortably for the rest of your days, Steve Bruce.
I will slightly differ in that I know that Steve Bruce's family has come to his defense in the media in recent times, saying that he's just trying to do his best, and I legitimately do think Steve Bruce is trying to do his best. I think the problem is that his football is from the 1800s, and it's not it does not produce good results.
No.
It's a very old style of play, and just I don't know, the players need a modern focus, perhaps.
Yeah, and couple that with an owner who has legitimately said he's wanted out for a decade and didn't want to throw any money at the club whatsoever. He was always going to be on a loser, and then when you get the club becoming the richest club in the world, the richest sports club in the world, there's no room in that club for a manager of Steve Bruce's ilk. He's gone from being kept in the club because he was less vilified than the owner to now being kicked out of the club because he's not anywhere near the quality of manager that the Saudis are going to want to put in. You couldn't imagine Steve Bruce managing the level of players, the caliber of players that we'll probably be seeing in the next few years coming into Newcastle. It would be absolutely ridiculous to see old man Steve Bruce managing players who know more about football than he's ever known in his life. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
UTT Wrestling in the chat also says he can watch the match revisited on ITV4 highlights from an Ipswich Town FA Cup third round replay. This is very specific from 1972. That he says that's good enough for him. Yes.
What they could do is get him a subscription to Man United TV, and he can live his glory days as part of Fergie's team. Just over and over, just rewatch like the mid-90s football when he was a star.
Yeah, he was at the very start of Fergie's tenure. How does
years when
Ferguson,
Steve Bruce and Gary Pallister were the heart of an Alex Ferguson defense for many years.
How does Sir Alex actually look better than Steve Bruce right now?
Look younger.
How does
he look younger? And doesn't, at least Alex Ferguson doesn't look like he's on the verge of a heart attack. Steve Bruce has looked like he's had a stroke for the last 5 years.
Oh. Well, I guess Mike Ashley's Newcastle will do that to you, perhaps.
Yeah.
EPW show. Our friend Conrad from the EPW shows is in the house. How's it going,
sir?
Conrad?
And you've literally just missed us having a little bit of a reminiscent about our times as part of a group with your good self, sir. Whilst we filled for time due to the fan illness. But yeah, thanks for popping in, sir. Another great content creator, another person we, Tanner and myself, have learned and gleaned so much from. One of the pillars in our wrestling community, one of the very much the go-to people for in terms of wrestling content and production value. Yeah, we massively appreciate Conrad. He's always been a huge supporter of everything we've done.
Well, and one of the brilliant things about Conrad is like he's just so good all the time at making the wrestling content.
Consistently good, like scarily consistently good.
Mm-hmm. He's absolutely one of the best. And you know, like hats off to Conrad. Like he's absolutely amazing. He was on the last episode that we did of Headlock Talk, you and me and Conrad and Mr. Warren Hayes, and that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. And Conrad had sent me a very touching message, and I was actually very moved by what he had told me. And to be fair, like, you know, Conrad's always been a much better content creator than I. So for him to say these words to me was, like I said, I really took it to heart. And yeah, Conrad's just an amazing dude. So if you're a pro wrestling fan and you're not watching Conrad or listening to Conrad's content, please,
you're doing yourself a
disservice
disservice. Yeah,
you got to start now. Like, what are you doing?
absolutely. We are blessed to be surrounded by a community of amazing content creators, big, small, and in between. And Conrad is definitely head and shoulders at the very top of that list.
Right now, and this is a very rare moment for Radio Tekkers. Right now, we're about to venture into a part of the day where NFL and Premier League football are kind of converging. Usually, this happens, towards the end of our show, but not today. We're only halfway through this game, and we could end it here, Max.
I mean, the issue would be that we'd probably miss another 3 Tottenham goals against this Newcastle side. UTT Wrestling, aka Rob in the chat again. Steve Bruce, only interaction with football should be playing David O'Leary Total Soccer on the game. Was that a game? Was it David O'Leary? No, I mean, I think you're mocking. And I don't think Steve Bruce has got a Game Boy Color. I think he's still rocking with an NES.
Yeah, like an Atari or like a what are those? A Pong. He's got
ColecoVision.
he's got a ColecoVision. I almost said kaleidoscope, but I also feel like that's the appropriate level of technology for Steve Bruce.
Look at the pretty colors.
That's amazing. Conrad in the chat says, "I'm happy for your friendship. You guys are tremendous. You're tremendous, Conrad.
Yes,
you are absolutely amazing.
You are much better than I. And I'm actually going to, whilst we've got a few minutes, I'm going to throw a little bit of love at UTT Wrestling's where
Yes.
Rob, a massive supporter of so many people, got himself a really cool, huge platform on wrestling Twitter. He's kind of like us, very kind of self-deprecating, but he doesn't really kind of acknowledge the influence and the gravitas he has in wrestling Twitter. But he has a show called Unbooking the Territory with another star of wrestling Twitter, Dan Griffin.
Yeah.
A massive supporter of everything we do here again at Radio Tekkers, but their show Unbooking the Territory, I've had the pleasure to be on now for 3 times, and it's so much fun being on that show. So if you get a chance to listen to it, definitely do so. If you get a chance to be on the show, definitely be on the show because it's so much good fun.
You know, I've learned so much about beer since listening to the UTT, and it's a fantastic show, like you said, and hats off to Rob and to and to Dan, because I was initially very much hesitant of tagging people who I was like, well, I mean, I know that they like football and they have an interest in football, but like, should I be tagging them in these kind of things here? And you know, like the support that they've given us is absolutely tremendous. And yeah, you need to listen to Unbooking the Territory because it's just a fantastic show. We did our draft with Rob and Dan,
which certainly opened your eyes to British wrestling content creators, and you were, what the fuck have I got in my? What have you? Literally DMing me like, what have you dragged me into here? Radio Tekkers is no more. It's cancelled.
Oh goodness.
No, but we are seriously blessed to be part of an amazing little macro community with Bang Bang and with UTT Rob and Dan and Conrad. We are very much honoured. Mr. Warren Hayes, we've got a fabulous community, so supportive, and a rising tide raises all ships. So for the love that you guys give us, we give it back. We give it back tenfold. Thank you very much.
Steve Bruce is back on the pitch now.
UTT Wrestling. I like football. I fucking hate Steve Bruce. I feel that you have an issue with Steve Bruce. I can't quite put my finger on it,
It
Rob.
feels
but,
like there's some kind of agenda here against
yeah.
Brucio.
Yeah. You seem to have some anti-Bruce bias.
Would you prefer if he was named Stefan Brucio? Would that be better? No, I kid.
The scenes if he goes back to Huddersfield as manager after leaving Newcastle.
Though, what if Steve Bruce immigrated to Italy, changed his name to Stefan Brucio, and employed
and then
this,
came to Huddersfield,
and then employed this tactic? He'd be hailed as a defensive genius.
I mean, does Steve Bruce's tactics work in any other league? I mean, I don't think it works in non-league.
The Serie A would be like, we haven't seen this since the 1950s. This is fantastic,
Wow.
Catenaccio style football.
John Joe Shelby looks more and more like Walter Zaz from Gotham every time I see him.
Oh, goodness. Good for John Joe Shelby for continuing to have a football career.
And never once passing the ball forward. Always sideways or backwards.
Dude, I remember him playing at Liverpool, and it was one of the worst.
It was a dark day in Liverpool history.
That was a dark time for Liverpool with Brendan Rodgers era with John Joe Shelby in the midfield.
Oh, John Joe Shelby feeding Andy Carroll. Oh, Jesus Christ.
And then it happened at Newcastle.
Yeah.
Which is fun.
And now Andy Carroll is clubless. I don't think anybody picked him up after he was released.
I mean, he's getting up there. He's
It's a shame he couldn't get up there and win a header, being like 7'4" or whatever he were. He's another person who's essentially robbed a living in football. He's only 32 years old.
Oh, is he only 32?
Yeah, but that's relatively young for a footballer.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying.
He's played for England 9 times, and he's woeful. He is, isn't it? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's woeful.
He tends to enjoy his time at the pub more than he enjoys football, is what I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe that was him in his younger years. I don't know.
I mean, it made 44 appearances for Liverpool and only scored 6 goals. What was it? 35 million at the time.
And he was bought the same day that they bought Luis Suarez, who turned out to be
a god in these streets,
nearly legendary. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And as we say that, Emerson Royal going down yet again with a very minuscule amount of contact. It's one thing about the influx of foreign players that we just can't shake, that how easily they go down and make every tackle look so dramatic. It's something that I think needs rubbing out of Premier League football. Not the foreign influx. I enjoy that. It's the drama and the
I think that there's
simulation.
Yeah, I think that there is a cultural. How do I explain this? I from my understanding, that is part of the game. In certain countries, taking the foul, exaggerating, kind of using a bit of the dark arts, if you will, of football, to kind of change the tide of something. And some players do that, and others do not. And it seems as though some players are just more readily prone to do that, unfortunately. That being said, Harry Kane has done his fair share of nonsense.
He's managed to be able to create his own unique way of drawing fouls when he leans ass first into people and has them essentially jump over the top of him and then get the foul. It's ridiculous. I mean, I get that it's gaining, like you said, it's breaking up momentum. It's gaining fouls and potential goals, but it's just a part of the game that doesn't rub well with me. When, like for instance, Emerson Royal in this game, he went down after he clipped somebody else's ankle, and he went down like he had broken his leg, which is
Right.
just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous.
Well, that's one of the things that gets parodied here in the United States, and why people look at at football fans, soccer fans, cross is like, oh well, they're just flopping all over the place, and that's not a real sport. Like, they're so sensitive about stuff, and it's like you don't see the full aspect. You see the worst aspects of
Yeah.
the worst offenders of that kind of behavior.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I remember, what was it? It must have been the World Cup in 2018 when Neymar took a tackle and literally rolled down the field about a quarter mile.
It's been a long day without. But yeah, it deserves the parody. It absolutely does. But for me, it's just one of the worst parts of football. As we say that, and Tottenham really doing well to break Lucas Moura with a lovely little pass to Son. The defence was able to get back, but I think he's been pulled for offside. I didn't think that he was offside, but that was great play by Son and Lucas Moura to link together. No, he's not offside. Oh, it looks like it was Kane who's offside further up the pitch. Got some context now for why Rob hates Steve Bruce with a vengeance. I'm vaguely aware of his history at Huddersfield, but he's saying they were top of the league at Christmas, didn't win a game for the rest of the season, missed the playoffs on the last day of the season, relegation and administration. Thanks, Bruce. And Jesus, that is a house built on sand right there.
Well, he got Newcastle relegated at least once, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't think it's solely on him. It's not like he's like it's all his fault. The players play a massive part in it. The investment from the owners play a massive part in it. But yeah, he was heavily involved. But he was in a position where he was essentially unsackable because the club and the fans hated Mark Ashley infinitely more. So keeping Steve Bruce around at least took a little bit of the pressure off Mark Ashley. If you bring in a new manager and the fans take to them, you're suddenly back in the firing line. So I think that's one of the reasons why Bruce was able to stick around when he's not been good at all at Newcastle. Plus, he had that kind of ironclad rolling 2-year contract where if they did sack him, they have to pay him every single penny of the 2-year deal. So financially, it made sense to keep him on board, whether he was doing good or bad.
We've got a rare glimpse of a Newcastle attack.
I mean, this may be the first time they've been in the Spurs half in this second half so far.
Yeah.
Connor in the chat doing a little bit more of the glad handing and backslapping that we did a little bit earlier, saying, speaking of great people, Mags and Tanner, you both are great people. In and around this community we have, it's amazing to see creators supporting creators no matter what content they put out. Yeah, and I think that's always been our ethos at Radio Tekkers, and way before we even started Radio Tekkers. Tanner and I have always tried to help push other creators because as we've always had the same mindset of a rising tide helps all ships. So I'm always happy to help other creators because I know what it's like to try and get your voice out there and try and keep your head above the thousands and thousands of other content creators out there. So yeah, I'm always willing to signpost for other creators, I suppose.
Well, even if it's just a talk, like in DMs, because I know that Connor and I have talked, quite a bit about, about the content that he makes and kind of things that that I've seen and kind of talked him through things that could work that I've seen others do, or things that maybe I've wanted to do that I know that I'm not capable of, but thinking that maybe he's capable of doing. So it's all about just kind of helping each other out, right? I think that's what it comes down to at the end of the day, is just trying to do your best, to do your part here.
Yeah,
And,
you hit the nail on the head. We all should be helping each other out, especially as small creators, because we've all got the same goal. We all want to be bigger. We all want to get a wider audience, and you do that by helping each other build up the audience and get more listens and cross promoting and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm always happy to lend a helping hand. I'm essentially a podcast whore. I'll go on a podcast about pretty much anything. So yeah, hit me up in the DMs down here at Podfather Max.
except pickles. He won't. Do
I
your
mean,
show
I'll
if
go
it's
on a
about-
podcast about pickles. I will slate it to the ends of the earth, but I'll certainly turn up.
Oh goodness. Picklegate still tickles my funny bone.
Yes.
Newcastle United passing around the defense here, it seems.
Well, at least attempted to.
There's
And then straight back to the full backs. Tottenham are doing a good job of pegging Newcastle back, and that Newcastle kind of bright opening seems so far away.
yeah. I mean, every time that Newcastle make a move, Spurs press up higher, and it's just almost with no effort. Spurs are putting Newcastle back down. We are now being alerted here on Peacock of the subs available for Newcastle. Almost a hint to Steve Bruce
to use these players. You have these players.
You gotta shake things up a bit.
Yeah, so statistically, Tottenham are dominating in pretty much every metric. 50% of the ball so far, 11 shots to Newcastle's 4. 4 on target, 3 of them which have actually been converted into goals. Newcastle's only shot on target ended up with them having a goal. Corners wise, it's been pretty much all Tottenham with 5-1. So yeah, this is a dominant performance by Spurs so far.
It's yeah, it's something. This is quite the game.
So I'm actually looking at the Newcastle subs bench now, and even now losing 3-1, there's not many of these subs who I would actually bring on, because you've got the likes of Shaw, Shelvey, Lewis, Hendrick. I mean, we let him go for free. We were that bothered about keeping him. Fernandez, Fraser, Murphy, Gillespie. Bring on Gale. Bring on Dwight Gale. Give him a last run out before he heads off with that Saudi money down to
Hull.
Oh Jesus! Can you imagine going from Newcastle to Hull? Wow, that's a bad stop. I mean, I was thinking like Sheffield United maybe, but yeah, Hull.
Would UTT Rob? Would you take Dwight Gale over
I mean, he's not a Sheffield United fan.
I thought he was a Sheffield fan.
He'd likely stab you for such insolence. No, he's a
Huddersfield Town fan. I'm so sorry. my mistake, Rob. I'm very sorry.
On the episode of Unbooking the Territory we did that I did with him this week, he mentioned a day trip out to Sheffield and how it wasn't that the most enjoyable. But yeah, I'm sure he'd take Dwight Gale at Huddersfield.
I mean, maybe, but Sheffield seems pretty, much his, Dwight Gale's speed. Possibly. I don't know.
I mean, Huddersfield are sixth so far in the Championship. Hull City 21st. Send him to Derby. Derby could do him because I think they're with administration. They're actually only on 3 points, so they definitely need the wins.
Joe Rogan has now put on a Newcastle United top and is headed out onto the field.
I actually thought you were taking them. I thought you were actually being serious there. That Joe Rogan, the massive money whore, has suddenly become a Newcastle United fan.
No, John Joe Shelby has taken the pitch. Again, perhaps for one of the final times that we'll see him in a Newcastle United shirt, and in the very coming years, we'll see.
He's made a lucrative career of being the star of the Hitman games, though, so he's not done too bad for himself.
Just gotta get some, But yeah, I hear he's selling Alpha Brain supplements over on the corner, with caveman coffee and
Yeah. Joe Rogan has gone so conspiracy theorist.
MCT oil
and he was advocating for the hydro whatever the horse medication was. Yeah, something like that. He was saying he got COVID and he took this horse ointment and it made him better. And I'm like,
yeah,
Jesus Christ!
It's like anti. I'm not a doctor. That's why we bring Matt.
That's why we bring Matt. Jesus.
It's for horses. I'm not quite sure what the purpose of ivermectin is for horses, but
I know it's certainly not for any kind of lung issue. I'm sure. Is it for? Yeah, it's for. I thought it was parasitic infections such as worms, like hookworm and whipworm, or river blindness. It does cover river blindness as well. Probably not.
Does that mean that you just can't see rivers? Is that what river blindness?
Yeah, or anything bigger than a stream, and you can't see it. Yeah. Or a creek or a brook.
So don't be driving out in the rain if you have river blindness.
So from the FDA website, ivermectin, the FDA has not authorized or approved this for treatment or prevention of COVID in people or animals. It has been shown to be not safe or effective in any of these indications.
Good Cop, Bad Cop has joined us in the chat. Graham, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. He's just finished the MGB recording. Game is probably finished by now, though, right? No, we are in the second half still. There was a game pause due to I guess an incident in the crowd. A fan had a medical emergency, so we're at about the almost 63rd minute here. But yeah, I did hear that Joe Rogan took the ivermectin as prescribed by a doctor. It seemed, along with IV vitamin drips, and basically did that for round the clock for 3 days or so, and became a
superhero.
Super. He's now Ant-Man. Yeah, that's
here at Radio Tekkers. We definitely do not condone the use of ivermectin, and if at all possible, definitely go and get the actual COVID vaccine.
Yeah, we just don't advocate for humans taking horse medicines in general.
Any kind of horse medicine.
Save those for the horses.
Yes, exactly. I just don't understand the leap in logic when you go from what will cure me of this very debilitating disease where I'm struggling to breathe. Horse medication. How? Well, I had a horse that once had fleas or once had
river blindness.
Yeah, it was, and now he can see all rivers. Every river, it's a cure-all. Ivermectin is a cure-all.
When I trust,
It's a snake oil. It's an absolute snake oil, isn't it?
I trust my horse to drive in the car in the rain when I need him to, because now he's taken ivermectin, and that's helped his river blindness.
Before he took it, he was walking into all kinds of rivers, and he can't swim because he's a horse. So I was forever dragging him out of rivers, but now he sees the rivers perfectly and avoids them.
Couldn't blow up the floaties fast enough for him, but now with ivermectin, the horse no longer needs the floaties, and we are a-okay.
How are humans? How are we the dominant species on the planet? We're idiots. We're absolute idiots.
Oh goodness. Man.
Anyway, back to the game, and it's as you were with Tottenham with the ball, dominating possession, not really kind of forcing the play because right now they don't really need to. This
is actually a really hard game to watch. If I'm being honest.
It's not often I'm glad of ivermectin talk on a show, but thank you, Tanner, for bringing up Joe Rogan and his batshit theories on how to cure very, very serious illnesses. Almost Matt Willis levels of medical advice. Joe Rogan wishes he could issue a hormone replacement therapy in the way that Matt does.
Mr. Rogan, I hear you have smelly feet, so we're going to replace your hormones. Oh, God.
Oh, God. Jesus Christ.
Oh, goodness. Connor McCabe in the chat asked, what Champions League fixtures are you looking forward to this week? That's a great question. So, PSG and Leipzig is likely going to be a very good competitive matchup. Liverpool, Atletico Madrid, obviously, that's a major matchup there. And I would like to personally see on Wednesday what Manchester United can do against Atlanta. Yeah.
I think this sneakily some interesting ties this week. I mean, Shakhtar and Real Madrid should be a decent tie to watch. Porto and Milan will be a good one. Ajax and Dortmund should be fun to watch.
Oh yeah.
Inter Milan and Sheriff could be an interesting one, especially with Sheriff being top of their group, and Inter Milan really kind of struggling. I think they've only got 1 point out of their first 2 games, so that'll be an interesting game to keep an eye on. If Sheriff can score the victory over Inter Milan, that's huge. That's massive for them. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
Graham with a little bit of trolling here, asking who does Burnley face in Europe this week?
Well, Burnley are in the World Disc Golf Championship, so suck on that, Graham. And after I was praising you earlier in the show when I was saying that getting an Arobi flying disc was cool, I take that back now. You absolute child, Graham. Grow up. Connor in the chat. Hello, welcome back, Connor. Newcastle is always hard to watch. Yeah, yes. The first 5 minutes was fun. It was exciting. We thought maybe the influx of the Saudis has really kind of lit a fire under Newcastle, and then the rest of the game started.
We know that Callum Wilson is safe. He still has a job next season.
Callum Wilson and St. Maximum are the only 2 players who will be drawing a wage come January. All the rest need to be maybe banking what they earn now, because it will come to an end very, very soon. As we say, that is a great last-ditch tackle, I think, there from Lascelles. Yeah. Still comes back to Spurs, though. And Ndombele trying to make something of it. I think he's been a real bright spark in this game, and Ndombele. I don't miss a lot of Tottenham players when they don't play, but I do miss the kind of creativity that Ndombele brings. He's very much a firecracker to watch.
Yeah, I would also lump Lascelles in that camp of those staying. He's a very, very competent defender. He just needs better people around him.
One man can't do the job, unfortunately. And I do feel that Steve Darlaw is a little bit underappreciated. Certainly last season he had some great performances and was pivotal in keeping them in the division. But yeah, he doesn't ring out as a huge name, and I think he's going to be one of them who over the next 18 months will certainly be on the chopping block.
Dude, this is this passage of play has just descended into madness.
I saw Romero go down.
Yeah, he was on the ground for at least 20 seconds or so before the ref did anything.
I don't think there's an actual foul in there though. It looks like he overstretched for the high ball, and then was caught on the way down. But I don't think there's an actual foul there.
Mm-hmm.
So UTT Rob, I mean Graham there taking my joke with the aplomb it deserved. UTT Wrestling, Burnley will be playing in Europe next season against Swansea and Cardiff. Fuck you. Trips to Wales does not count as Europe yet. They're still part of the British Empire. Good
for the time being.
Rude. I mean, going across to the People's Republic of Yorkshire for a game against Huddersfield, that's more going to Europe than going to Wales. But Graham says the aerobia is far more difficult to do. That sentence makes absolutely no sense. That act that Chris BFC says happens on discs.
Was Chris say happens on discs?
Oh dear. I vaguely remember. Are we talking when the disc became sticky bar gold?
Oh,
is that what we're covering? Serie A update. Is that
Torino?
I think it means Torino. Yeah. And Napoli 0-0 in the 60th minute.
Tirano.
Tirano. Yeah, that's a Serie B team, I think. And UTT Wrestling saying Huddersfield Town might be going up. Yeah, they're not, though, are they? Come on. They'll flatter to deceive. They'll get to Christmas and then not win another game. Steve Bruce style. It's embedded in Huddersfield.
The Terriers, if you will. The last time they went up, they were under David Wagner, and he made them,
tolerable.
Kind of fun to watch.
To be fair, I actually enjoyed watching Huddersfield in the Premier League. I really do like a plucky young upstart team. I think that's why we've kind of took Brighton and this season Brentford to our hearts.
Mm-hmm.
But if Huddersfield do go up, I will hate them, especially if it's at Burnley's expense.
Oh goodness.
Oh wow! And these two were friends not 2 minutes ago. Now Graham is saying, did they buy a standard stair lift to the director's box? Because that's the only way that they are going up. Woof!
Wow!
Mean Graham.
Chad is getting spicy.
It's Graham. He strolls in with about 20 minutes to go and just upsets the apple cart.
Oh, goodness. Well, fortunately, we still only have about 16 minutes of regular time.
I mean, normally we would be out of here. And for a little bit of reality and context, we've got another recording planned for pretty much straight after this. And the delay may put a little bit of a spanner in the works for young Tanner here. He was on a very, very tight schedule. So I think that Newcastle fan was quite selfish, really, for doing what he did. He could have done it last week when we weren't watching Newcastle. But them's the breaks. Them is the breaks. No, we wish them all the very best. But if it means that we can't record a change in attitude, yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'll leave it there. I was probably going to say something marvelous.
So plan your emergencies accordingly. Ladies and
If you're
gentlemen.
going to fall deathly ill, do it on a timely basis.
Make sure to take your ivermectin.
Maybe that's what he did. Maybe he slipped his ivermectin tablets and thought, "This will get me through." Oh dear! It wasn't the Johnson and Johnson jab. It was parasitic worm medication for a horse. But I can see the River Tarn now, so all good.
The town's
Swings and
become a lot more
roundabouts.
clear. The town's become a lot more clear now that I've taken this ivermectin. The water's all dried up now.
Oh, good lord. UTT Rob saying he would be happy with top 16, to be fair. I think Burnley right now would be happy with top 6. Between 16th and 17th, I think we'd be happy with.
I still have the Wikipedia article for river blindness pulled up. I'm just
Go on, you spill. What is river blindness? What's it been nothing to do with actual rivers?
It actually does. Well, not rivers, but blindness. You know, severe itching, bumps under the skin, and blindness. Yeah, it's caused by a parasitic worm
In the river.
I would assume so.
I mean, you will get a lot of them in the River Tarn flowing through Newcastle because it's probably 90% sewage flowing through there.
That's horrible. Willock is off. Frasier is on. Not the sitcom Frasier, but Fraser, the footballer player for Newcastle.
Wow. Kelsey Grammer making his Newcastle debut.
That would be a signing that Newcastle could make is Kelsey Grammer. That would have been under the old regime of
Steve Bruce has got his number in the Rolodex. Newcastle having a little bit of actually a bright play over the last few minutes, but it's not really amounted to anything. Graham in the chat in Change Attitude Talk, or it was a delight to chat with this week on Good Cop, Bad Cop. I believe we have another member of that team lineup. Listen, Graham, I like you, but stop fucking poaching my squad. It's took me a long time to build this squad, and you just wade in with your big size nines and take my team away from me. How dare you? No, it's cool. It's cool that Ori's been on, and I assume the other member of the Changing Attitude team is Mark Miro. So if you've got Mark Miro on, that's amazing. Or Heel JR. If you've got Heel JR or Rick Bogner on.
Rick Bogner, fake Razor. You know, they could be.
No, I assume it's you. Mr. Tanner, are you making your Good Cop debut, sir?
I am. Yeah, right
are
before.
You looking forward to it?
Yes. I'm actively looking into the some of the videos and content that has been shared with me here by both Graham and Matt via Twitter DM, and some interesting stuff about the dinosaurs wrestling each other. That's interesting. It's been a video going around today.
Whenever I've been on that show, they've let me just fall on my sword. They've just invited me on to mock me, and they never give me any kind of like background. So you're honoured. I feel slighted by the Good Cop Bad Cop team.
Well, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you.
No, but it'll be fun to have you both on. You and Ori are amazing people, and you'll have a great time on there.
Speaking of Ori, bad news for Ori's LSU Tigers. their football head coach, Ed Orgeron, who led them to a national title not too long ago, he will not be returning as head coach next season. So he will serve out the remainder of his time this season, and he'll be off to, I assume, a crawfish boil.
Is that through his own choice, or has he just not been re-signed?
Well, let's find out.
What are the I mean, are LSU doing okay?
Yeah.
Checking for a possible penalty here for VAR. This will be the nail in the coffin for Newcastle if it is. What's the referee saying? He looks like he's going over to watch the action, the replay. Nope, no penalty. It looks like. So how are LSU? I think I've filled for enough time there, Tanner. How are LSU doing? Is he moving on to bigger and better, or is he the Steve Bruce of LSU?
I think part of the issue was that they had this like historic team that won.
Lord.
Oh goodness!
Have you seen the same?
They're painting through the stadium there where there's bunches of people with chic garbs.
A lot of them with just tea towels on their heads. like you know that those were used to dry the dishes before they put them away. That's ridiculous. And one of them was a full ass like elderly woman.
Yeah,
she would not be accepted into the Saudi culture in any stretch of imagination.
That'd be blasphemous, I would say.
Great defensive header by Eric Dyer. Newcastle tried to claim a penalty from that, but his arms were literally down by his side, and he just stuck his big Swede head in the way.
Yeah, you asked about LSU. They are 4-3 this season, so they're not doing great. But I think that he had a historic team that was pieced together not too long ago, and they did very, very well. But all of those players have since been drafted on into the professional game. So,
okay,
yeah, he's been there for a minute, but it does not seem likely that that anything LSU related will be happening after this year for him.
And as we say that, John Joe Shelby comes across Son. Son looks like he was outpacing Shelby, booking straight away, and a very dangerous free kick here, and it's a sending off.
Oh, it's a red card.
Wow, he's literally been on the pitch about 10 minutes, and he's picked up 2 bookings and a sending off. Jesus Christ, Walter Zaz, what are you playing at? That's his Newcastle career over, surely.
It was a tackle on Regulion, who was, like you said,
the original
outpacing
booking.
him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was outpacing him, and no, it was for this tackle here as well. Was he booked initially? Yellow card.
Yeah,
for
that's his second booking. Yeah,
right. So this one here, it was on Regulion again.
Absolutely nowhere near the ball, nowhere near it at all. You would not put your foot in there. And Steve Bruce is, that bald-headed prick has just got me fired. No, Steve, it was the 5 years previous that got you fired, sir. Oh, wow.
Wow. Well, John Joe Shelby, that's this is your life.
Yeah, so his original foul was actually on Ndombele.
Ndombele, okay.
Yeah.
So that must have been very recent then.
Yeah, he picked up 2 bookings in 5 minutes.
That's ridiculous.
Connor in the chat saying, I would like it to be known that the Frasier sitcom is one of my favourites. It's class. Yeah. It's very inoffensive. It's not always going to be like belly laughing funny, but it was something you always tend to enjoy. So yeah, I agree. I would happily sit and watch Frasier. So yeah, it's I would not happily sit and watch this Fraser that is on the pitch right now, but I would certainly watch Kelsey Grammer running up and down St James Park for sure.
I like the dog. I like the dog in Fraser.
and the old man. And Daphne's
Yes.
cool.
Daphne's cool.
And the theme tune as well.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of very much distracted by something else.
Ori had messaged us asking when we were going to record Change in Attitude. I was just letting her know.
In about 10 minutes, Ori.
Yeah, I was letting her know it's going to be a minute. Oh, goodness.
Well, seeing as we're getting to the last 5 minutes there, we can do a little bit of the
norm.
The clean up, the kind of sign off beforehand. I don't think we're going to see any kind of massive game changing performances by anyone. So, who would you say going into the last few minutes has been your man of the match?
Oh. Dude. Certainly not anybody on Newcastle United. I would say.
I mean, yeah, even St. Maximin has been kept relatively quiet. Anton Deck there in the bottom corner, looking absolutely woefully disappointed that they're involved in this team right then. So, I mean, I'll make it easy for you. I think for me, there's not even on the Tottenham side. There's not been anybody who's been particularly head and shoulders above anyone. But I think I think Son has had a really good game. Obviously got on the score sheet, but he's been involved in a lot of the good stuff that we've seen from Tottenham. And Dombele, I think, has been a bright spark. Eric Dyer has been solid at the back. So Regulion has been good both going back and forward. So, but for me, I think Son may just edge it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably go with Ndombele just because it seems like he's been pulling the strings and he really put a massive goal. So, yeah, I gotta say Ndombele, but Son would probably be close second there for me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a very interesting game, to say the least.
I mean, it's been lively in terms of goals. I mean, 9 goals over 2 games on Tekkers has certainly been a record, at least in my limited memory. But 4 goals in this doesn't do it justice. I don't think. I don't think the football we've seen has warranted 4 goals. It hasn't been an exciting game to watch, even with the goals. The most exciting part was the break for the illness, and that's bad to say when 2 teams are not performing well enough that a break in the play overshadows everything that's happened on the pitch.
Oh man.
But yet again, I want to reiterate the speed of the Tottenham and Newcastle players to get the medical staff's attention and getting the fan the help they need. It deserves all of the praise, and the way that the medical staff dealt with the situation as quickly as possible. I've got to say that they worked absolute wonders, and hopefully the fan is quickly on the road to recovery. He'll probably be glad he didn't have to watch this second half because it's been piss poor, absolutely piss poor. And as we say that, I've just got another update, and I think from this free kick, yep, we do. Eric Dyer with the header, making it 3-2. Pretty much how he defended the shot earlier. He literally just knelt down and stuck his big clown head in the way. But this time the ball hasn't deflected away; it's deflected into the net.
He's auditioning for Amanda Stavely to join Newcastle United in the winter.
I mean, he's arguably been a better defender than Newcastle as well. Oh, he's upset.
He's such
He's such a slabhead, isn't he? Look at that! Wow, that was foot high. It's actually come off his thigh. What a absolute pillock! Why did he go for a header there? Why did he go for a header there? What a fucking idiot! It was foot high. He could have just put his boot through it and kicked it straight out of St James Park. But he tried to header a ball that was thigh high and clowned it into the net. What an absolute bell end!
We went from this game being just about done to possibly Newcastle United coming
That's
back
been
to
the
steal
best
a
part
draw.
of the game so far. That's been the absolute best part of the game. Eric Dyer being the pillock that he is. Remember, this guy got in the England setup for Euro 2020 over Tarkovsky and over me. Oh,
Yeah, over Mags. Yeah, he got selected over.
how I could have defended that better. That was ridiculous. Eric Dyer, you proper, you absolute gonad.
Graham in the chat here with he's talking about the chair that he has now is the same as like it reminds him of Frasier's dad's chair from the show Frasier. Wife has tried to throw it out multiple times, but it's very comfortable, so he's decided to keep it. He reminds us that the dog's name is Eddie, and he certainly enjoys and would like more gravy fountain talk. So we talked about the
maybe
possibility
next time. Monday, we could bring it up on the volley.
Yeah,
tune into the volley on Monday.
We'll be with Matt. That's that would be his proposed wedding gift is from Mags and I is a chocolate gravy fountain.
Sausage chocolates gravy, sausage gravy fountain.
Makes me burp just thinking
That'll
about
be
it.
Delicious.
Got some indigestion from the thought of it. FIFA Connor 16 in the chat. He asks, who do we think is going to replace Steve Bruce this week? He also
this week, how confident that everybody knows that Steve Bruce he's essentially he's going to be met after this game with his P45 and his handshake and get out. I wonder if they'll give his bus fare home, or will they let him keep the company car for a couple of days? I mean, he's leaving with 8 million. I mean, he's doing Irish kicks all the way out of this stadium.
He also notes your insults here: slabhead in all caps. And
ironic that it wasn't even his head; it was slab thigh.
Slab thigh. He also asked, "Does it get more British than the insult pillock?" I don't think so. It's very
I think
much
that's the part of this show that Tanner loves the most, the British insults.
Insults.
We've added so much to his vocabulary. He's gone to Mrs. Tanner and said pillock, and she's like, "What on earth are you on about, Tanner?" And he's like, "Nothing." Just has an internal giggle to himself.
Casually. Goodness.
Good cop, bad cop. You would never hear a player being referred to as a bellend on Match of the Day. And you know what? The show is worse for that. I think if Gary Lineker and Jermaine Genius and Alan Shearer were calling people bellends more, the viewership would go through the roof.
I believe you called Eric Dyer a bellend, a pillock, a slab,
and
an absolute gonad. Only here on Radio Tekkers do you get this kind of commentary, folks.
In-depth analysis, yeah.
So like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends to come hang out with us here as we insult professional athletes.
Joe Linton getting put in the book at the last minute. Graham, nice bullseye reference with the BFH, the bus fare home. Don't forget the great word plonker. No, we don't use plonker enough. I might have to try and strong arm that in a little bit more. But yeah, to answer Connor's earlier question, we spoke about it at the beginning of the show. Romero doing the Neymar roll. Then, jeez, he was in the 18-yard box and now he's rolled his way to the opposite side of the pitch. Jesus Christ!
Do we need to do this with only 5 seconds left on the clock?
Yeah, come on, lads.
But
yeah, we spoke. I think the favourites in terms of the bookies for the Newcastle job is Frank Lampard, which I think is a
Terrible choice.
horrific decision. That guy is not a manager at all. For me, I like Unai Emery. I think he has certainly got the chops to be able to work with a team like this and then can bring in newer players. Lampard would be a ridiculous choice. And finally, Steve Bruce gets a hug off Nuno. Sorry about your damn luck. If you need me to put a good word in, I can maybe get you some.
My cousin has a restaurant that you can wash dishes at.
Do you need to borrow some money? Just let me know. Or he might have been tapping Bruce up for some money. He might have said, well, I know you're getting that 8 million severance. Can you spare a few bucks?
We get more British insults here in the in the chat here. Graham's brought in some. Rob's brought in one. UTT Wrestling on Twitch says Steve Bruce is a Wazzock.
Wazzock. It's a Wazzock, man. Yeah, that's a very old classic. One that's kind of fell out of favour. Cockwomble is actually a relatively new one. And again, we're getting pictures of Ant and Deck applauding, and then Deck just turned and like, what the fuck am I applauding for? And Amanda Stavely, hugely disappointed. Like, what have we bought? We paid 200 million for this bag of shite. But yeah, terrible game. I bitterly regret watching this. Thanks for that.
It's not about the destinations. It's about the journey.
It is.
Oh, goodness. So, there you go, folks. Radio Tekkers does it once again. We're coming back to you tomorrow with the volley. So, make sure to check that out. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for everybody who's stuck in with us and joined us in the chat.
The last shot here on Sky Sports is of one solitary woman where all the fans have cleared out, and it's one woman wearing a tea towel on her head, waving a Newcastle flag as if, yeah, good times are coming. Nah, they're not. Last question we'll go out on before we hit the road, because we both have another recording to do very, very soon. Tanner, do you know who Ant and Deck are? No, no. We will leave it at that because it is not worth it. Let's send the good people home, sir.
Oh, good deal. Well, thank you everybody who's tuned in and watched this. This has been a fun time here in the chat. We greatly appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, tell your friends and loved ones about Radio Tekkers, and have them join us next time, where we will be talking more football, doing live commentary, and again, we've got some great content coming up tomorrow. Mags is doing chain wrestling with Sai, and right after that, we've got the volley, where we are where we're gonna do a match rundown of this past weekend's results and talk about ongoing news around the Premier League. Who knows? Maybe Steve Bruce will be sacked by the time we record tomorrow. So
I think that's inevitable.
So for the Podfather Mags himself, I'm Tanner, aka the Texas Gentleman. Y'all take care, enjoy yourselves out there, and have a great rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.